Hey there, my name is Sam Evan Schroeder. I'm the grief advocate unedited, and in this video I'm going to open a time capsule of sorts. There's no script, actually. I have been looking for this journal and I finally found it. This journal is what I started writing in the night that I miscarried. I miscarried in September of 2009, and I haven't opened this journal since I finished writing in it. I wanted to open this journal with you, and I'm not sure what to expect, and I'm not sure how I'll react, and I don't remember what's inside. So here we go. Chronicles for Baby Evans. For 9 months, it's just you and me. I hurt you. Love, Mama. This journal belongs to Baby Evans, August 2009. So I started writing in this journal when I found out I was pregnant, and I continued to write in it after I found out I was miscarrying. First time ever I wrote Mama. Alright, there are a couple cards in here. Just a note to say hello today. Dear Sam and Clint, I'm so sorry about your baby and the sadness you're feeling right now. I've never experienced it myself, so I don't know just how you feel, but I know it hurts. I'm praying that God will help you through the days ahead as you heal physically and emotionally. There are no words I can offer. Just be sure you know I care and love you. It takes a lot of time. One thing I'm sure, Uncle Ron is holding and rocking your little one, and will do so until you get there. Love, Anthelma. So this is from a relative who'd never experienced miscarriage, but who lost her husband. So she didn't understand infant loss, but she understood grief, and still does. We still talk. God is with you. May his love be soothing. May his words bring you strength. May his promise fill your heart with his peace. With deepest sympathy to you at this time of sorrow, Sam and Clint, we love you both, and we're praying for you. God's love never fails. In Christ, Kyle and Valerie. I will never leave you comfortless. I will come to you. John 14:18. There's a debate about whether or not moms and dads should tell people they're pregnant in the first trimester, because what if you miscarry? What if you lose your baby? Then you have to tell everyone you miscarry. I would say these are really great reasons to tell people that you're pregnant in case you miscarry, because the people who know you and love you are going to support you and care for you through that time. Okay. So this picture was given to me by my friend Britta, who had spina bifida, and she passed away 2 years ago. Oh my gosh. Life is hard. September 16th, 2009. Some of these journal entries are actually included in Love Letters to Miscarriage Moms, because I used this journal to write this book. I used my thoughts and feelings in real time when I was miscarrying to talk about my miscarriage. And I actually started writing this like 3 weeks after I miscarried, so I was writing in both of these at the same time, actually. September 16th, 2009. It's just me and you until May, and I wanted to take advantage of this time we have alone together. I want to share with you things that I experienced, things that people say, and things that I am praying and thinking. Some of the things I write you'll probably wish you could forget, but this journal is for me too. Other things I tell you, I pray that you will always cherish. Here's to me and you. Here's to the love we'll know from each other, and here's to the Lord. It is he who has given us such a wonderful gift to share. I love you, sweetheart. Mom. May 2009. Decided July would be our last pack of birth control pills. May through July. Emily Latimer is the only one who knows this, except for myself and your dad, of course. July 26th, last pill. July 30th, first day of last period. August 14th, bike ride with Barb. After 6 miles on a semi-hot day, I felt extremely lightheaded and thirsty, but couldn't figure out why. August 20th, went water skiing and did a zip line with teenagers, so if your head is shaped funny, you know why. Earlier that day, I shared with a fellow youth pastor that I was having trouble focusing. I thought it was because I had such a busy summer. Turns out there was more to it than that. August 27th, had a very strong feeling and a voice in the back of my head telling me not to give blood. Clint insisted I was being ridiculous. I wasn't pregnant. Then he gave me a hug. September 1st. My abs were extremely sore the day after a stomach workout. The pain didn't really go away. Went for a run, got back, and my nipples were purple. Not good. I remember that run. It was cold, but this had never happened to me before. I got back from my run and I was like, why am I aching? And I pulled my sports bra away and looked down and I was like, they were actually purple. I was like, that never happened before. September 2 through 5. My belly button itched off and on. Extremely moody. Sweaty face, aka the glow. Felt like my abs were being pushed up and out. Suspected I was pregnant. 6 days late. It was 6 days late. At church, I whispered to Emily that I was 6 days late, and I walked away. Go home and take a test and put me out of my misery. Doesn't it have to be the first pee of the day? No. Don't I have to wait a few weeks? No. Go take the test. September 6th was the day I found out you were real. Off the pill 10 days, and there you were. I went home from church and took the test. 2 youth group boys were at our house at the time. Nick was the first person to ever pray for you. Wow. My friend Carolyn knew I was pregnant because I called her and she didn't answer, and then I called her again and she called back and she said, are you pregnant? I was like, yeah, how'd you know? She's like, because you never call twice. Yeah, a lot of this is in the book. I gave friends awards. Carolyn, Best Intuition. Dana and Dia, Best Baby Nickname, Little Clam. It's a mixture of Clint and Sam. Angela, Most Calming, Best Advice. Lori, Best Congratulatory Hug. Alicia, Best Squeal. Lisa and Lillian, Best Facebook Responses. Misty, Best Surrogate Mom. Mom, Best Denial. Dawn, Best Spreader of News. That's my mother-in-law. Nick, Best Reaction. Clint, Best Mate. A lot of this pregnancy stuff is in the miscarriage book because for me it was an important piece of the grief to acknowledge the pregnancy was real. There was really a baby inside me. The baby really lived. The baby really died. Because making the pregnancy real also helped to make the miscarriage feel real, and it validated my grief and the loss. I started a chart of women I knew and what they had, boy or girl, and if they were nauseous or not when they were pregnant, and then how they carried their baby. That's funny. Monday, September 21st, 2009. Well, it's official. You're official, I should say. Went to the doctor's office and peed in a cup just so they could tell me what I already knew, that I'm pregnant. It did feel good to hear the confirmation, though. Wow, I'm pregnant. I can't believe it. September 28th, 2009. I'm not pregnant anymore. Brown spotting turned into pink and red, into darker clumps of red. People kept saying that miscarriage cramps are worse than any PMS cramps you could ever experience. Not true, for me anyway. I had awful cramps in high school. I have seen so much blood in the shower and in the toilet the last 15 hours that toward the end of the shower yesterday, I was kicking the clumps of tissue down the drain in tears. And I yelled, all right, I get it. I'm not pregnant anymore. I actually did an entire video about spotting and bleeding and passing clumps of tissue and what that looked like for me and felt like for me. I forgot that I was kicking tissue down the drain though. That's intense. I felt like God was speaking to me even then, which didn't make sense to me because I felt like he was saying, are you ready to be blessed? I was like, that doesn't compute right now. But those words kept me going forward. And now I have 3 children on earth and I have 3 children in heaven. And I've written a book that helps other people. I want to show you. Hold on one second. I opened this yesterday. Ta-da! Look! I got this in the mail yesterday until the day we meet again, a miscarriage journal. And you are the author of the book, or whoever buys the book is the author of the book. And then there's journal space and quotes and it's super pretty. Isn't that fun? So I was miscarrying, bawling my eyes out, and now I have this opportunity to take care of other women who've experienced infant loss, kind of walk through their grief with them, and that's an incredible honor, and it does feel like a blessing, even though I had to go through a miscarriage for it to happen. So pretty, right? I'll show you this real quick too, because I'm really proud of this format. I put a lot of thought into journaling because I am a journaler, and I don't like when there's a journal prompt at the top of a page and then it gives you 2 or 3 pages to write that journal prompt. Because 1, you have to write that journal prompt, and 2, what if you don't have 3 pages of content to write, or what if you have 5 or 6 pages that you want to write on that topic? So then that never made sense to me. So here's what I did for this journal. I don't know if you're a journaler, but if you are, you're gonna get this. All right, so here are the journal prompts, and that looks absolutely backwards to me. So good luck. So here's a list of journal prompts, and you can choose whichever one you want, or you can come up with your own. And then here's the index of your journal entries. So like this is the table of contents, and you fill out the table of contents yourself. You write the prompt that you're gonna write, and the page number it's on, and the date you wrote it. So then you can, here I'm gonna skip forward, really pretty graphics. This book is gorgeous. I love how it turned out. So you have writing prompt on page 14, and then you get to start at the beginning of the book and just go forward and fill it in as you go. And there's a space for a writing prompt on every page. So obviously if you still want to write, you skip filling that out, but you just write as long as you need to write about a certain topic, and then you stop writing about it. So let's just say, for instance, pick a prompt. Unexpected things about miscarriage that no one told me. And you start on the very first page, which is page 14. So you start writing things that I didn't expect about miscarriage on page 14, and you write the prompt and you write the date. And let's say you write like this many pages about it. I don't know what that is. But then the next time you pick a prompt, you just start on page 18. So then you go to your index and you write here for the second prompt, you write page 18, and then you know exactly what you wrote and when you wrote it, and you choose to write what you want to write about. I think it's kind of brilliant. Just saying. And then there are also coloring pages in here if you want to do that. There are instructions on how to create your own coloring page, which I think is kind of fun. There's a Mad Libs type thing. Okay, so here, this is kind of cool. This is an excerpt of Love Letters to Miscarriage Moms. So you get a free chapter and a half in the journal, just to see what the book is like in case you want to purchase the book and you want an inside look at it. This is another book I wrote. It's poetry about grief and loss, hope and healing, and you get that for free if you sign up for the newsletter. All you have to do is scan that. Ta-da. Let's see if that works, by the way. Yes, the QR code works. Perfect. Things you have to check. Very neat. Okay, let me show you this one last thing because I'm super proud of it. There I am. It's crazy to me to think that at one point I was so broken that I was kicking clumps of tissue down the tub drain. And now, this many years later, I'm here sitting here talking to you, sharing my experiences and walking with you through yours. And that's my same hope for you. Like if you've experienced a miscarriage recently and you are just steeped in grief, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, you look back and yes, it's hard, but there's also joy in the journey. I hope that you're able to find yourself. I hope that you're able to find your faith or preserve your faith. Mine was really rocky for a while. I didn't want to speak to God for weeks and weeks, which was interesting because I was in ministry at the time as a youth director, and like opening my Bible and praying were in my job description essentially, and I just didn't want anything to do with God. I was so angry. Like, God, I've been a good girl. I follow you. I do all these things for you. How could you do this to me? And it took me a really long time to come to a place where I realized, like, it's not about me. It's about loving you. So here I am. All right, so here we go. I am not going to read this whole journal to you, by the way. That's not what this video is. I don't think. There's no script. There's no script. As I went throughout the day, I told stories again and again, repeating the details so many times that they no longer affected me as much. When I told my mom about my miscarriage, I was actually thinking about this yesterday, but I couldn't remember what the situation was. When I told my mom about my miscarriage, she said, "Samantha, that is so weird." So basically, my mom was going through menopause and she hadn't gotten her period for an entire year. And then when I got pregnant, she started her period. And we lived across the country from one another. She lived in Illinois and I lived in Oregon at the time. So she got her period 3 months in a row while I was pregnant. And then the day that I miscarried, she had cramps so severe that she was on the couch with a heating pad after not experiencing cramps for years. My husband described himself as feeling dead inside, which is what happened to me. I actually had a child inside me that died. So it was crazy that he felt the same way I did, I guess. I went to worship practice that following day because I was on the worship team, and one of the songs we were singing for that Sunday was "Blessed be the Lord. Darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say, blessed be the name of the Lord." I apologized to Clint for the miscarriage because I felt that I must have been at fault. Nope. You were not. You were not, Sam. You were not at fault. People always say tragedy can be used to help others go through the same thing. My hideous thought was, I don't want to have compassion for people in this. I don't want to be experiencing this. God, why would you give women and couples such a beautiful gift and then take it away again? It hurt Clint to hear me blaming God, and he reminded me that God never wanted us to experience death. That was all talking about the doctor's visit, which I wrote about in the book. My doctor actually miscarried, so she was able to talk to me from like the medical standpoint, but then also a personal standpoint, which was actually pretty cool. My doctor's visit was as good as a doctor's visit can be when you're finding out you're losing a baby. A lot of people have had horrific experiences with their post-miscarriage doctor visit, and I did a video for that because that's awful. And then actually, because people were so hurt about what happened at the doctor's office for them, I wrote a fictional scene at the doctor about a woman getting a D&C. The doctor's just showing sympathy. That scene is in the book. Grief has no timetable. I wrote, God was like, just kidding, LOL. That's pretty sarcastic. And then I started writing a list of women I knew who'd miscarried and how many kids they had. And then I leaned into these people. If they lived in the area, I went and visited them in person and talked to them. If they lived in the Midwest or somewhere else in the country, I just spent a lot of time on the phone with them. I started collecting stories of women who miscarried. That is how Love Letters to Miscarriage Moms started. It's kind of cool. Oh, I have a page of notes about hope, scripture references that all have to do with hope. I love doing like a word search in the Bible and just looking up hope in Genesis and Jeremiah and Matthew and Revelation and seeing the correlation of hope throughout scripture. I feel like I always learn the most when I study scripture like that. It's cool. Oh, here's a really terrible drawing that I drew of myself in God's hand. That's myself in God's hand. That is why I am a writer and not an artist. Blessed be your name is underlined. And then I wrote, how many of you have experienced tragedy? You see, following Christ doesn't mean instant success or instant wealth, or instant get what you want when you want to get it. Following Christ just means that when we do fall, and when our world is falling apart, we can land on the solid rock, and we have a Savior who pulls us up again. And if it weren't for that, God would still be God. He is still worthy of all of our blessing, and all of our honor, and all of our praise, all the time. Even when we experience tragedy in our own little universes, and we don't feel like worshiping, God is still God, and He still deserves all the blessing, and all the honor, and all the glory, all the time. This page right here in my journal, I'm losing cards. I'll go to those in a second. Right there. See those words you see? This is the moment that I realized I was writing to someone, that I wasn't just journaling for myself. This is the moment right here that Love Letters to Miscarriage Moms became a book. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see that again. Yeah, and then so I interviewed my grandma who'd had 2 miscarriages and stillbirth. I interviewed the pastor's wife at the time who'd had multiple at least one miscarriage. grandpa's sex. She is really funny. My grandpa was going into World War II. He was going over to Germany, so they got married right before he left. And my grandma got pregnant on her wedding night. I was like, you go, Grandma. Good job. I mean, obviously our grandparents have had sex. It was just funny. This is where I started interviewing women. All right. A chapter list: pregnancy excitement, the inevitable signs, the most terrible day, the aftermath, from one mother to another, steps of faith, aborting abortion, that is not one of the chapters, Dear Daddy was a chapter, hope, adoption is an option, living a life of purpose. I have 10 chapters listed here. There are 23 chapters in the book. So that's a rough draft. That's a definite rough draft. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. Death took him, but God received him. Another friend who miscarried. I started guessing which friends had miscarried and which hadn't based on gaps of time between their children. There was either infertility or infant loss in that space between their children. Okay, so this is kind of crazy. Got pregnant, miscarried really fast. Didn't listen to the doctor about waiting to have sex. Got pregnant 2 weeks after the miscarriage. But I didn't know I was pregnant. And so I went to the doctor and they checked my ECG levels that were low, but I was pregnant. Either I was like just pregnant when they checked the HCG levels, or like within days of them checking the HCG levels, because I got a phone call from the nurse saying that the HCG levels had gone down, which is what they were supposed to be doing, but I secretly hoped they were going up because I was pregnant, and then I was pregnant, and then I miscarried again. So August pregnant, September miscarried, October pregnant, December miscarried. Infant loss is really tough, isn't it? It's no fun. 4 weeks, 3 days since the miscarriage and still no period. To As of Friday, though, 5 days ago, my hormone levels are at 0. So, again, so that was October 28th. And God is like E.T., glowing finger, passion, power, love. I'll be right here. That's funny. All Saints Day happened right after my miscarriage. Car, can reeds grow without water? This is crazy. Diary of a Faster, January 2010. Walls you have built around your heart. One by one he will peel them away like old scabs. This will expose you. You'll feel naked and ashamed. Your deepest hurts, fears, and regrets will all be laid bare as he peels away layer after layer after layer. Once he rescues your heart, he will hold it forever, though Satan will still try to have his way. But Jesus has called. Jesus will hold you to him and keep you safe. I wrote a poem. It is a really bad poem. This is Saturday, February 20th, 2010. I was dead and dirty, and Jesus wasn't okay with that. He held me fiercely. He held me fiercely and tenderly all at once, and he rocked me and spoke to me. He spoke to me softly and said my name. As he spoke to me, my faith became his righteousness became mine. I saw us, and I saw his filthy rags. As I thought, well, that's not right, his filth disappeared, and as he held me, my tummy grew. For a second, I was happier than I'd ever been. Jesus and I looked at one another in the eyes, and I was so happy. And then I wondered what the child was, and I wanted it to be a boy, twin boys, and I didn't want to see inside because I didn't want to be disappointed. Scene change. I was crumpled on the bright light golden throne room of heaven. One of the 3 thrones was empty because Jesus knelt before me. His forehead was against mine, his face desperate to convey the love and the plan that he had for me. Do you know that I love you? I know your dreams. I know your dreams. Let them go. Could you let them go if I asked? Could you love me even if I didn't give you your dreams? Could you love me back no matter what? I love you. Jesus wants me so bad, but I can't let go. I know that I've been filled to be emptied again. So maybe right now you're in your spiritual sweet spot. John 16:21 through 24. A woman giving birth to her child has pain because her time has come. But when her baby comes, she forgets the anguish because of the joy that a child is born into the world. So it is with you. Right now is your time of grief, but I will see you again, and you'll rejoice, and no one will take away your joy. In that day, you will no longer ask me anything. I will tell you the truth. My Father will give you whatever you ask for in my name. Until now, you have not asked for anything in my name. Ask and you will receive, and your joy will be complete. It's beautiful. I think a lot of times, though, people take that verse out of context. Ask anything in my name doesn't mean tag God's name onto the end of a prayer. It means praying God's glory and God's kingdom on earth and being a part of that, in my opinion. On earth. Friday, April 23rd, 2010. Dear Jesus, I'm so exhausted I can't think straight. There's a hole in my sock. I'm distracted too, I guess. Okay. Well, that's weird. At that same time, I actually lost my job. The church split, and I lost my youth minister job. So I miscarried, and then I didn't have a job. All at the same time. And then I found out I was pregnant. This is not the first one, but I found out I was pregnant 6 months after my miscarriage, and that became our oldest daughter that we got to keep here on earth with us. There was a pregnancy clinic in town, and they did free ultrasounds for people, and I went every few weeks so I could see an ultrasound of my baby because I was so scared of losing her. They actually had asked me not to come anymore, and I was like, I'm sorry, I miscarried, and I just need to see that she has a heartbeat. I just need to hear her heartbeat over and over and over again. Now that girl is 14 years old, and she has time management issues. She's almost late for the bus every single day, and it stresses me out to no end. But I love her to pieces. I love watching her play soccer. I love watching her play double bass. The kid was in 5th grade, and she chose to play double bass for orchestra, the biggest instrument you can play. And I had totally forgotten how terrified I was that she would not be born. And then there were complications during her birth, and she was born by cesarean, and I wasn't okay. I wasn't okay until I heard her crying. That demon of will I get to keep a baby on earth didn't vanish until I heard her crying. And then I passed out because I was exhausted, so my husband was the first person to hold her. It didn't help that a cousin of mine had experienced a stillbirth at 36 weeks, like a week or two before I was supposed to go into labor. That was terrifying. It was like, I was like, just get me there. Just get me to week 40, which became week 42. And like, just get me there and just get me to the end of this pregnancy and get this child out of me so that I know that she'll be okay. It was terrifying. So these are the ultrasound photos. I named her. Alright, let's take a look at some of these cards that flew everywhere. If you look for me at Christmas, you won't need a special star. I'm no longer just in Bethlehem. I'm right there where you are. You may not be aware of me amidst the celebrations. You'll have to look beyond the stores and all the decorations. But if you take a moment from your list of all the things to do and listen to your heart, you'll find I'm waiting there for you. You're the one I want to be with. You're the reason that I came. And you'll find me in the stillness as I'm whispering your name. Love, Jesus. Well, that is not quoted. I don't know who wrote that. That's really pretty, but I don't know who wrote it. Soon you'll be holding your own baby's precious little feet. We're so happy for you. May God richly bless you as you enjoy your baby. Welcome to Rubber Ducky World. Congratulations on your new baby. Sam, I hope you like it. I tried. Okay, so these are all cards from the baby shower. That is not a card from the baby shower. If you've miscarried and you've not yet carried a child to full term, and you've not experienced a baby shower or that joy of having a child, I pray that you will. I'm sorry that you're experiencing infant loss and infertility. It's exhausting, it's terrifying, and I'm so sorry you're going through this. And I pray with all my heart that you will know the joy of being a mom. I also need you to know with my whole heart that you are more than the sum of 2 pink lines. If you never have a child, God still loves you. God is not mad at you. You have not done anything wrong. God still has a plan for you to be blessed and to bless others. Don't give up on your dream of becoming a mom. But I would encourage you also to make room for God to do something new and brave in the life you're already living. You are not alone. You are loved. This journal. I don't know if you're a journaler, but not for a year before that. Then cramps she had not experienced. Wow, my grammar's terrible. Okay, here. This is cool. This is an excerpt of yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. I can't. That did not go according to plan. Look, my friend gave... There it goes. My friend gave me flower petals from her... My friend gave me... Look, my